Hey, it is your good friend. Wait, where am I? Oh, yeah, there I am. It's your pal, it's your compadre. It's TC, everybody. Welcome to Rock This Town Live. We are here every Monday through Friday, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. That is 7 Central, 6 Mountain Time, 5 on the West Coast. That is 1 a.m. in London tomorrow. Is that right? Man, that is right. Wow, crazy. And then, of course, Tokyo is tomorrow as well. So I appreciate you hanging out with me today. I'm running a little late, so I'm just getting the party started. And what are we talking about today? Well, we're talking about the vinyl of the day, which I don't actually have in front of me because it's a vinyl that we want and one that we need. Yes, exactly. There you go. A little light on the subject. That would help a little bit. So cool. We're going to relive the past a little bit with something from 1988. I love it. Also, MTV turned 44 today. Yeah, remember when MTV was cool? Remember when VH1 was cool? I'm old enough to know when VH1 was cool. Who would have thought it? So, but we'll actually I'll show you the the first 50 videos that MTV played. It's a terrible list of videos. These are all songs that did not stand the test of time. So most of them did not stand the test of time. And then what else is going on? Oh, my top 5 Anthrax records of all time. Am I the biggest Anthrax fan? No. Do I own any of the vinyl? No. But I do like Anthrax, and I do like some of these albums. So there you go. No John Bush, unfortunately. So John Bush, if you're watching, sorry, John. No offense, but I just love the Joey Belladonna stuff. You know, everybody, each his own, right? Each his own. So, and we'll talk about some new vinyl that is coming up and some kind of cool concert stuff that's going on, including Foreigner and Tantric and the Monsters of Rock Cruise with a hell of a good lineup, in my humble opinion. I'm going to actually move that up my list here. I'm going to talk about that first when we get to concert. So, there you go. In case you're joining us a little later, you can always rewind or you can watch back on YouTube anytime you want. Of course, the podcast is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever mediocre to sexy podcasts are found. Now, this, of course, is the second greatest rock and metal show in the history of the world. I'm not an egomaniac, so I would never call it the best rock and metal show, but it's probably more a little rock, little spread of rock. I also love 80s pop, so there you go. Because 80s pop, there was actually some good stuff there. All right, let's start by reliving the past. Some might call this 80s pop. I would not. I would call this 80s rock. Right in the wheelhouse, baby. I was at this show. Well, not this show, at the Coliseum. That would have been early February of 1988. But Def Leppard on the Hysteria tour with Tesla opening. So did you see that tour? Because I saw it 3 shows at the Met Center in Minneapolis, technically Bloomington, which is a suburb of Minneapolis. 1 show, not enough. 2 shows, still not enough. By overwhelming demand, a 3rd show. Welcome back, Def Leppard. 17,051 filled the arena every night. I had good seats, and I saw the Hysteria tour by Def Leppard. I saw Tesla. I loved Tesla back in the day. Tesla was one of those great bands, and in fact, I still love Tesla. What can I say? Definitely a top 10 band for me with Tesla. So there you go. I actually never did look at the chat. Estes, I did get your email, by the way. So sorry about that. I got your email, and then I got your other email, and then I got your other email. So we'll get you scheduled. That's just going to be on the show at some point in the future to show off his awesome vinyl collection. I know he's got a pretty good collection because he's bought some stuff from the store in the past. So there you go. So, hey, how you doing, Estes? Paula hanging out. Thank God it's Friday indeed. No, I kind of love doing this. I like to have jobs. I don't know if this is a job per se. I like to do stuff where it's like, shit, I'm sorry about the language. Crap. It's Friday and oh, thank God it's Monday. But I also understand the appeal of the weekend comes, my cycle hums, ready to rock with you, baby. So there you go. Hey, Tito, hey, how you doing? Thanks for hanging out. So Def Leppard, Tesla, I have seen these bands a number of times. I've probably seen Def Leppard the most in my life. Because Jen and I, big fans of Def Leppard. And then Tesla, I know I've seen a number of times as well. So there you go. Cool. All right. What else is going on? Oh, yeah, the news. There's not a lot of news today. So I'm gonna take you on a journey. Back 44 years ago, I did not have MTV when it launched. I think I was in a small town just outside the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul. We had kind of a small cable company. It was an independent cable company. And we got MTV like in 1983. And it was like, oh my God, this is amazing. It's great. Did not have it in 81. But look at the list of these crappy videos. How many of these songs have actually stood the test of time? I mean, obviously, everybody knows that the Bungles video Killed the Radio Star was the first song that MTV played on the airwaves, but You Better Run, okay, Pat Benatar. And then we get to a lot of songs that are just like, well, Little Susie's on the up. Is that the band that Tesla covered? PhD, because obviously Tesla on the Mechanical Resonance album covered a song called Little Susie, which I know was a cover. So I'm guessing that is actually the song that Tesla covered, Little Susie's on the Up, which would only make sense by someone named PhD. But listen to this unimpressive list of artists here. Rod Stewart with a song that I've never heard in my life. Cliff Richard, okay, Pretenders, very cool. Todd Rundgren, I couldn't name a Todd Rundgren song if I tried. Okay, Time Heals, I can name that one. REO Speedwagon, okay, decent. Styx, never been a big fan. Robin Lane and the Chartbusters, hey, 38 Special, Hold On Loosely. Now that's a pretty good song. April Wine, I dig April Wine. More Rod Stewart. Sailing? What? Iron Maiden. How about Iron Maiden getting some love in the early hours of MTV back in the day? That's pretty cool. Let's see. The Cars with a song I've never heard of. Phil Collins in the air tonight. But most of these songs are not classics. Let me tell you. Stop Dragging My Heart Around. Okay, that's a classic. Baker Street, by Jerry Rafferty. Probably the only time that ever got played on MTV. Any of these songs that stood the test of time. Best of Times by Styx. I never liked that song. What can I say? Whatever. I like Styx, but that song, forget about it. Wrathchild by Iron Maiden stood the test of time. Another Rod Stewart song I've never heard of in my life. Passion. REO Speedway. What? Oh, Angel in the Morning, Juice Newton. Now that's a good song. That's a really good song. Let's see here. Tusk by Fleetwood Mac, I guess. Rapture by Blondie, and then that's it. So I could probably count on two hands. There's probably about 10 good songs on this list. So MTV, now granted, they had to do what they had to do. They only had so many videos they could choose from, so they're playing Tom Johnston. All due respect to Tom Johnston, they're playing Rockestra. They're playing the Silencers, Michael Johnson, Lee Ritenour. I know some people like Lee Ritenour. We had a bunch of Lee Ritenour in the store. Nobody ever bought it. Anyway, so there you go. Beat after beat. Hey, how you doing? Herver, good to see you. Thanks for hanging out as well. So that is the MTV 44 years ago today. Those are the songs that they played. And it is a cornucopia of crappy songs, in my humble opinion. Like I said, 10 songs probably that still resonate with maybe you and me today. But a lot of these songs, it's just like time has forgotten these songs. So I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Another story that's making the rounds today, heavy rock and metal shows are up 14%. Per new data from Live Nation, which is kind of cool. I'll tell you the artists who are actually doing some bank and are actually driving kind of a rock and metal resurgence. My niece is in town this week, so I got to get her to listen to some rock or something, maybe like Sleep Token. I don't know if she'd like Sleep Token. She's into Slumber, and what else is she into? That Demon Hunter or whatever it is, the K-pop group. So it's like, keep in mind, she's a young lady. So, but we'll get her listening to some rock and metal potentially. But yeah, as far as bands that are actually kind of bringing people into places or into venues, Bring Me the Horizon. Cool. Very kind of a newish band. 10 years. Bad Omens, Pierce the Veil, Sleep Token. I dig Sleep Token. Ghost, Turnstile. Turnstile is actually really cool. And if I said anything bad about Falling in Reverse, Casey, who used to work in the store, she would come and pound me. She'd give me one of these. So Falling in Reverse is obviously awesome based off of that. And then older acts. Now, when we think of older acts, you may be thinking of Leopard and Crew and bands like that. Well, older acts these days now, veteran acts are Metallica, Korn, Deftones, Evanescence, Iron Maiden. Okay, yeah. System of a Down, and so Maiden was the only band that crossed over between the MTV first 50 videos and people still coming to see a band like Iron Maiden. So there you go. Not too shabby. And then some festivals are actually doing well. The Louder Than Life and the Aftershock. And I'll tell you about the Monsters of Rock cruise coming up here. And just two shakes of Bum's Bum. I don't know. Yeah. Tito loves Sleep Token. I love it. Yeah. Tito, that Emergence song is so good. I heard it on Sirius XM yesterday, or maybe it was today. And I'm just like, damn, this thing wails, man. It is so good. And Herver says, you like Demon Hunter, huh? Well, that's interesting. I haven't listened to any Demon Hunter, so it is what it is. As Estes, we'll find out next week when I get something scheduled with him. Same with Terry and a couple of others. Oh, Richard. Hey, if you want to be on the show, show off some of your grails, whether they're rare, whether they're high priced, or whether they're just personal. Like let's go back to this list. Like maybe perhaps you have an album from not Rupert Hine, because Rupert Hine did Pina Colada, so I'm going to show him some respect. Let's see. Perhaps you have the Best of Times album from Styx, and it means something to you. I will patiently and respectfully sit through you fawning over that. I might make fun of you a little bit, but other than that, so there you go. TC@heytc.com if you're interested in being on the show. All right, top 5 Anthrax albums. Okay, so what's interesting about this band is I really like the old stuff. I really like, Madhouse, kind of when they're having a good time. See, metal, like Metallica, very intense. Megadeth, very intense. Slayer, oh my God, so intense. What I love about Anthrax is that they seem to be willing to have a laugh. You having a laugh? Yeah, I'm having a laugh. And that's what I love about them. I'm the man. I am the law. Bring the noise. Madhouse. Those are great songs, and there's a lot of personality in them. Hence, Joey Belladonna as the lead singer. Now, when it comes to John Bush as the lead singer, good stuff. I get it, because Joey had left, but none of the John Bush stuff albums made my list. So here's my top 5 when it comes to Anthrax. For All Kings, number 5. I debated putting an earlier album in there, and I should have probably, but I went with For All Kings because I thought it was a good record. Worship Music. This was the first album when Joey Belladonna returned to Anthrax, and as soon as I heard, I think it's In the End, I'm like, oh my God, Anthrax is back. It is so good. Now it's not as lighthearted as some of the songs I was talking about, but still, it is great. If you want to do some homework, add In the End by Anthrax from Worship Music to your Spotify or Apple Music, Amazon Music, whatever you have playlist this weekend, and there you go. I did, in case Mike Kennedy ever is watching this particular show, I did check out the Revenge of Alice Cooper record. By the way, there's a couple songs on there I actually liked. Let me find out what songs they were. You know what's funny about the Alice Cooper band coming back together with kind of sort of the original lineup, obviously, is that they sounded a lot like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, ironically. Or vice versa, the Chili Peppers sounded like them. So anyways, there's the Revenge of Alice Cooper. Black Mamba was the first single. I'm going to pass on that. It sounded too Chili Peppers to me. All due respect to the Chili Peppers. Wild Ones was actually a great song from the Revenge of Alice Cooper. And then Up All Night, I thought, was a great song as well. So a couple of songs that stood out to me when it came to the new Alice Cooper record with the original band, not just Alice, but Alice Cooper band. So there you go. Wild Ones actually had a great bass line on that. So not too shabby. Number 3 for me, Persistence of Time. The last record, I guess. I think that was the last record with Joey Belladonna before his exit and then return some 20 years later. Spreading the Disease, of course, and then Among the Living. I mean, kind of a no-brainer. Though I love some of those EPs. Like I said, I love the I'm the Man EP. That is so good. So I probably could have included those, but I did not. So there you go. Beat After Beat says Spreading the Disease was my first Anthrax album, and I love it. There you go. Beautiful. And then Persistence of Time with Belladonna and We've Come For You with John Bush is Herver's favorite. So very nice. Cool. Paradise Theater by Styx. Estes, you're gonna pull out Paradise Theater by Styx when we talk. So we'll see how that goes, man. We'll see. Some vinyl announcements today. Not a lot, but a few. The Who is putting out Live from the Oval in 1971. Early classic Who stuff. So Behind Blue Eyes and blah, blah, blah. So good stuff. I actually dig the color of the vinyl on this. And the cover art is actually really cool as well. So not too shabby. Plus it comes with a little booklet. So, and what's this come out on August 22nd? So 3 weeks from today, and then run you about $38. So if you're a Who fan, this actually looks pretty freaking cool, if you ask me. I kind of dig it. So there you go. I'm. What does Herver say? I've got I'm the Man from RTT. Love it. Oh yeah, nice. We had that once, maybe twice. I remember it once in the store. Maybe you're probably the one that got it. Billy Johns. Hey Billy, how you doing? Good to see you. Billy says State of Euphoria and Sound of White Noise, my brother. Yeah, State of Euphoria. Oh, that's the one I left off. That's the one I'm just like, I should probably put that on instead of the for all kings, and do I regret doing that kind of? But yeah, and then Sound of White Noise. Like I said, I like John Bush. He's great, but I like him in Armored Saint more than I do like him in Anthrax. What can I say? It's just a personal choice there. All right, what else is going on? Last Night on Earth. This is a cool looking vinyl too. This is the new Finger 11 record coming out on November 7th. I don't have any pricing on this one yet, so we'll have to see how that comes out as far as pricing goes. But yeah, pretty cool band. They've got a couple of hits there. They've got a greatest hits record out. So if you're ever into not 311, Finger 11, you can. I wonder what Finger 11 means. Could it possibly? What would a group of guys probably giggling like schoolgirls come up with? The name Finger 11. What could that possibly ever mean? I don't know. I'm sure they're very serious and exactly. But Last Night on Earth, that's the brand new record coming in November from our friends in Finger 11. And once again, I still stand by Osmosis coming later this year. Alice in Chains Tripod coming later this year. So there you go. I'm increasing my odds with the Tripod. I'm at 92.3%. With the Aussie record, I'm up to 78% now. So I'm just saying. Damn Yankees. This is getting another repress. We can't get a pressing of Don't Tread, which is ridiculous. But Damn Yankees, once again, being repressed, and that's going to go for about $38. Comes out on October 31st. You can actually get this in red or blue. It's a good record. It's actually a great record. Obviously, you got Michael on drums, you got Jack, Tommy, and then Uncle Ted playing guitar. So, boom, rock and roll. Yes, Osmosis, bring it indeed, says Billy. Yes, I want that record. Since Ozzy passed, I've been listening to that record a lot. And I'm like, I know everybody loves the early Ozzy stuff, but the later Ozzy stuff too, some of it's really good. The Patient Number 9 record I thought was good. The song, was that the title track that he did with Jeff Beck on guitar? So good. Now Jeff Beck's gone, and of course Ozzy's gone. So I don't know. And then finally, that is Generation X getting a reissue, the Billy Idol project, before Billy Idol was Billy Idol. Though there he is right there on the right as Billy Idol, which I guess only makes sense. That comes out, September 26th, and that's going to run you about $31. So a little pricey for a Generation X record, in my humble opinion, but it is what it is, and I can't stand no more. Anyways, all right, cool. There's Jerry the Parrot, and a reminder that make sure you follow us on YouTube. Of course, you can watch the show back anytime you want on YouTube if you miss it. And then starting September 23rd, we're going to be exclusively on YouTube. So, but until then, we're still on Facebook as well. So there you go. This is a hell of a lineup. If I ever went on a cruise again, not going to happen. If I ever went on a cruise again, no way in hell was that ever going to happen. If I ever went on a cruise again, it would probably be the Monsters of Rock cruise. And the lineup is out starting, what is that, April 12th through the 17th. They're porting out of Miami. And then Porto, what is that, Porto Plata? I don't know. And then the Great Stirrup Cay? I don't know. I'd rather go to Dead Man's Cay in the Bahamas, but that's just me. I don't know where any of those, I don't know, whatever. Anyways, Monsters of Rock Cruise, Rock the Nations. Okay, here's the lineup. I'm digging the lineup because these are always good. Black Label Society with, of course, Zakk Wylde. Cool. Night Ranger. How many of these bands, I wonder, have I seen? Night Ranger, my first concert. So, yes, I have seen them. The Darkness, I Believe in a Thing Called Love. Just look into the rhythm of my heart. Queensryche, I've seen. Great band. Striper, never saw them, but hey, very cool band. Symphony X, Y&T. I always wanted to see Y&T. Love Dave Metachetti. Contagious, Summertime Girls, Mean Streak, and what's the other one that I love? There's another song that stands out there. I can't remember. Anyways, but Slaughter as well. Very nice. Steven Adler playing by himself. Of course, Adler's Appetite, sometimes it's called, or in this case, it's just Steven Adler. Disney After Dark, that is. Great White. I guess Mark Kendall is still in Great White. I think that's potentially All That Remains. That's a different band, by the way, All That Remains. Like a dad joke. Sorry, man. Lita Ford is going to be there. Very nice. Never been a big fan of Lita, but, I'm glad that she's having success. Quiet Riot, very sexy. Let's see. And then some of the bands I've never heard of. TNT's going to be there, though. 10,000 Lovers in One is a great song. Once again, add that to your list of homework for the weekend. Nelson's going to be there. Cool. Vixen. Loudness. All right. Loudness. Beast from the East. That's Dokken, but what was I can't remember the name of the Loudness record, but Crazy Nights. That was the big song from them. Faster Pussycat going to be there. Dangerous Toys. I dig Dangerous Toys. I think that's a really underrated band. Killer Dwarves. I'm skipping over some of these. Soto. That's Jeff Scott Soto. And then Soto with Bueller. I don't know what that says. I can't read that. Steelheart's going to be there. Very nice. Black and Blue, I remember them. Vain, Tough, and Enough's Enough. So a pretty good lineup, especially a lot of 80s, late 80s kind of quote-unquote hair metal. So there you go. Estes mentions that Ozzy did 2 songs with Jeff Beck. I did not know that on The Patient number 9. So, and Billy Johns agrees with me. Thanks, Billy. That Dangerous Toy is very underrated. Scared. I love that song. And then Teasin' Pleasin', and then they got some other stuff as well. Black and Blue, I never got into them, but, I don't know why. Maybe the guy doing the lead singing reminded me of a buddy of mine. And I'm just like, I can't like this band because it's a friend of mine. It's just, guys were weird. So there you go. All right. What else is going on as far as concert announcements? Tantric going on a summer tour starting tonight in Battle Creek, Michigan. Let's see. They're hitting, is that Michigan as well? Indiana, and a couple of dates in North Dakota. Tantric. I remember those guys. I can hear that riff in my head from that one big song that they had. So there you go. Toto also out on the road. Toto, as they say in Tennessee. Men at Work and Christopher Cross opening up. Men at Work. That is always a band that sold really well when those records would come into the store. I don't know if people have slept on Men at Work, but Men at Work is got actually a pretty damn good, big fan base. So there you go. And Christopher Cross, they had that Yacht Rock documentary. I forget, was it on HBO Max or something like that? And so that put Christopher Cross back into the zeitgeist. And Toto's always cool, Rosanna, good song, but Hold the Line, probably their second best song. And then, of course, Africa, their best song, in my humble opinion. So there you go. Yes, Billy, Tantric, very good. I love Tantric more than I love Days of the New. I always kind of, because they a lot of acoustic guitar with Tantric and stuff, and then Days of the New, obviously a lot of acoustic guitar. I'd say Days of the New is maybe a little bit better of a band, at least for my personal taste. But Tantric, Breakdown. That's what the song was that I love. That is so good, so good. All right, and then Foreigner is out on the road, and these are the dates. Let's see. Tomorrow night they're in North Carolina, and this is, I think, Kelly Hansen's last tour. He's been the singer in Foreigner for what, 20, 25 years, and there's no original members. Maybe Lou Gramm shows up every once in a while. Mick Jones back at his palatial estate. Unfortunately, Mick is suffering from some aging. How would I put this? He's getting older. Like all of us who are getting older, things creep up on you. So unfortunately, it doesn't look like Mick Jones will ever be going back on the road with Foreigner unless they're playing near his own place there in England. But yeah, actually, Foreigner 4, they released a remixed version of Urgent from Foreigner 4. That's getting a special deluxe edition coming out, I think, in about 3 weeks. And I was listening to the new remix, and I'm like, ooh, you're touching work that was done by the great Mutt Lange. I don't know if this is a good idea. In the end, I did not care for the remix. I did like that the bass, they turned up the bass a little bit in it, but everything else they did with the mix, I did not care for. I was just like, no, just give me the old OG version. That's what I want. So there you go. Cool. Yes. Oh, if you're digging the show tonight, boom. It's a Friday night. Just got paid. No sleep till Monday, right? As Loverboy sang in 1986, I think that was. I think that was on the Lovin' Every Minute of It record. If you want to smash the like button, I would appreciate it. That would be extra sexy. And then if you want to share the show with a friend, if you share the show with a friend and Estes shows the show, share. I can't talk. There we go. Get the crap out of my mouth. If Estes shows I can't talk still. If it's like the double mint. If you tell friend to tell, I can't talk still. Wow. Hang on a second. Let me take a hit of this fantasy vibe here. Let's see if this does it. Caffeine. If you tell 2 friends and they tell 2 friends and they tell 2 friends, then there you go. That's all. I got nothing else. All right. My vinyl is the days. That's something that Jen and I don't have in our collection. This is volume 1. Volume 1 is On Through the Night. This is a box set from Def Leppard. Volume 1 has On Through the Night, High and Dry, Pyromania, Hysteria, and then Live at the LA Forum in 1983 on the Pyromania tour. We want this. We must have this because we have volume 2 and 3. We just do not have volume 1. They have yet to put out volume 4. So it's a I guess this would be a 5-album box set with some extras as well. So I think in the end, I think it's close to like 8 or 9 records and stuff. But this thing in the secondary market goes from anywhere from about $500 to $800 now, just because it was kind of a one and done. So I don't know. If you got it, I'm jealous, and I'm willing to pay at least $75.76 for it, maybe more. You never know. Maybe $4.75. We'll see. So there you go. Cool. But yeah, it's definitely a cool box, and I wish Jen and I did have that in our collection, but we do not. So that's the way it goes. So, all right, I'm going to take another swig of water because I got to get that caffeine taste out of my mouth. Aqua. You know what I was watching again last night? No Country for Old Men. I can't get enough of that movie these days. Have you seen it? I love it. It is fantastic. The first time, I love the Coen brothers, The Big Lebowski, Fargo. But I don't know, maybe you just got to get older to appreciate some movies. Like Audrey, who works in the store. Worked in the store. She's only 19. And I told her to watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. She's like, it was good. But I think if once Audrey turns like 30 and she watched it again, she would be like, oh, I get it now. I think just like The Sopranos, my niece is 25, the one in Texas, not the one visiting. And at this point, I think she's probably ready to watch The Sopranos because she is literally Meadow Soprano. So she got that look, when she gives you that look, you're in trouble. But yeah, I think with certain things, and I think No Country for Old Men is one of those movies where I just needed to wait 10. I think that movie came out maybe almost 20 years ago. I guess I needed to wait 20 years before I started really appreciating it. I love Josh Brolin in it. I love Javier Bardem. I love Tommy Lee Jones in that. I don't understand the Tommy Lee Jones part of it, but it is what it is. Woody Harrelson's in it. He's great as well. So there you go. All right, let's get to the chat. See what I missed. Paula, of course, say hello to your pride and joy. Mike, I know pride and joy usually means your kid, but I'm gonna go with Mike as your pride and joy. But ooh, she says that is nice. I would love to have that. Love Def Leppard. Yes, I do too. And it's got kind of the classic of the classic records, On Through the Night, High and Dry, Pyromania, and Hysteria on it, plus the live show. And I love live music from the LA Forum in 1983 when Brian May of Queen showed up at that show. And they did Traveling Band by CCR, Creedence Clearwater Revival. So there you go. Cool. Yes, Breakdown is a magnificent song. Okay, so I didn't know, Estes, I did not know that Jeff Beck did another song on that Ozzy record, 1,000 Shades. So I got to check that out because big fan of Jeff Beck. Let me tell you a story. So when we first opened the store, we obviously Jen and I hired a couple of young people to help out in the store. One of them was Audrey, who you might have met or you might have seen on the show when we first started doing the show before she went off to college in New York. And then the other one was Connor. Connor was great. I love Connor to this day. He's in a band and he is fantastic. He's such a great kid. But I never got any work done when Connor was in the store because Connor would usually work with me. Audrey would usually work with Jen. So Connor and I would talk all kinds of stuff. He loved John Mayer. He absolutely loved John Mayer. I don't know if you're a fan. I don't know if you've heard of John Mayer. He's a good guitarist, but he's not Jeff Beck. So I would tease Connor that, guys like Jeff Beck and Eric Clapton and, well, goes without saying, Eddie Van Halen and many others were so much better. And he would be like, no. And we would talk about that. We would also talk about basketball because he was a big LeBron James fan. And if there was anybody in the world I want to troll, because, LeBron James, I think he could probably say he's got just a little bit of an ego. And I get it. He's one of the better basketball players to ever play the game. I understand that. So I can understand the ego. But Connor loved LeBron James. And I would say, and I would start giving my 5 best players of all time. I'd start with okay, let's go with Bill Russell at number 1. And then he'd freak out. Michael Jordan at number 2. What? How can you have not LeBron in the top 2? Bill Russell, who's that? I'm just like, Connor. So what happens? What's the point of this story? I get it. So while he's working there, or just after he leaves, because I never got anything done with him. I loved working with him, but it just wasn't a fit for him. He was like a puppy that could not be tamed, and it's good because now he's out there doing his own music and stuff, and it's great. However, as soon as he leaves, what happens? Bill Russell passes away. I'm thinking, geez, Connor, you put the Maloik on Bill Russell with all your negativity, and then what happens? Jeff Beck passes away. I'm glad we didn't talk about anything else because God help us. What would have happened to we never talked about Ozzy, thank God. Ozzy held on for another 3 years after that. So how's that story? Was that death or what? Maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't. So there you go. All right, cool. That's it. I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to put this show in the book, as they say. And yeah, I got nothing else. I don't coming up next week. the great thing about music is you never know what's going to happen. You could get an Ozzy Osmosis announcement, an Alice in Chains tripod announcement. We could get a new Def Leppard record announcement. We could get probably not anything from Van Halen. That's few and far between, unfortunately. We could get a Metallica at the Sphere announcement. So you never know what's going to happen. Hopefully everybody remains healthy, and hopefully you do as well. And yeah, there you go. As Beat After Beat has just said, have a beat crushing weekend, everybody. I concur indubitably. Of course, if you're joining the show late, you can always rewind and watch. You can watch anytime you want on YouTube. And we're here every Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And that is 5 on the West Coast and 5 in very hot Arizona. It's in like the 110s right now. This is not a good time. And plus, it's humid right now, which is not good because we had thunderstorms kind of come through yesterday. I don't know if it rained. That's the weird thing about Arizona. I don't know if it rained, but we had thunderstorms. Yeah, you're thinking, well, thunderstorm is rain. Well, okay, we had thunder, but we didn't. I don't think we got any rain. So there it is. And not too shabby. So, all right. Have a great weekend, everybody. I appreciate it. And Mike says, hey, misses the trips to the store. Yeah, but there's some other good stores out there, of course. I know that the Vinyl Record Dude up in Scottsdale just opened a new location. So you should check that out if you haven't, Paula. And then my friend Desi. Well, maybe he's not my friend anymore because he got mad at me because I wouldn't hold the bins on him. Because he's like, can you hold those bins? I'm like, no, I can't because I need to get them out. But you hold them for like 30 days. No, I can't. And then he hasn't talked to me since. So, but I still love Desi. And he's got a new store, and it's fantastic. David Dolman was telling us on Tuesday night that it's 3 times as big. So it's no longer 100 square feet. It's 300 square feet. I'm kidding, of course. It's probably like 1,500 square feet now, which is fantastic. And Desi always has good stuff, pretty good stuff. The good stuff always sells, and then there's the rest. But there you go. Cool. And then, there's a whole bunch of good record stores in Phoenix and throughout the U.S. So if you get a chance, go visit a record store. There's actually a game store that opened pretty close to us that was actually interested in our counters, but that didn't come to pass. So I kind of want to give them love because I drove by yesterday and there was nobody there. And I'm like, I've had days like that in the record store where nobody comes in. Well, we never had a day where nobody came in, thank God. But sometimes it's a little lonely there. And I guess we should have been given spinning the wheel to give haircuts and stuff. Because I was watching on YouTube the other night of this place. I think it's in Boston area, somewhere in Massachusetts, where young kids can come in and they spin the wheel and they can get different haircuts, like a mohawk, or a pineapple, or one of them was the old man. So basically it's so funny. They took this kid who's probably maybe 9 or 10, he's got a full head of hair, and they give him like an old man haircut. So he's got like this bald spot, this gigantic bald spot all over his head. And he looks like an old guy. Anyways, it's super fun, and kids, at least not kids. There's no young ladies coming in getting the old man haircut, but the boys are a little more adventurous, and so they're doing their thing there. So that's funny if you get a chance to find that on YouTube this weekend. All right, I'm out. Have yourself a wonderful weekend. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for tuning in.